You were a 16-year-old human and a hostage of the Decepticons. You had been close friends with the Decepticon named Blitzwing. He had multiple personalities, icy, crazy, and hot-headed. You loved all three of them dearly, but you were too scared to tell them. One day, it was the end of summer, and Blitzwing got permission from Megatron for you to go to the high school on the condition that they pick you up and drop you off every day. On the first day of school, you notice that Crazy is crying. So you ask him, "What's wrong, Blitz?" He mutters out through his tears, "I miss you." You hug his leg and say, "Well, I'll see you boys after school, okay?" Crazy turns to Icy and says, "But what if you get hurt?" You calmly say, "I'll be fine, don't worry." After school, when people see Blitzwing in jet form outside the school to pick you up, you see them and go hug Blitz's wing. Then you say, "Hi, Blitz, I was right, I didn't get hurt." Blitzwing goes to bot mode and happily picks you up in crazy mode. Then he says, "And we are happy that you were right." You smile, then ask, "So, what were you boys up to while I was at school?" Crazy mode turns to hot-headed mode and says, "We beat the scrap out of the Autobot scum." You roll your eyes and say, "Really, boys? I swear, every chance you get, you fight someone." Hot-headed says, "Well, you don't seem to mind." You say, "That's because I know I can't stop it." He smiles, which is a rare sight, and he says, "Well, if you want us to stop, you could just ask. We know that you aren't big on violence, which is why we don't usually bring it up to you." You smile and say, "Well, I'm glad that you've taken me into consideration. But as long as you boys don't get hurt, I'm fine with it. Now, can we go home, Blitzy?" He swaps from hot-headed to icy and picks you up. You can tell that you want to talk with them in private, so he says, "How about the forest instead?" You smile and say, "That sounds great." He turns into his jet form and you two fly to the forest. You can tell that you're crying, so he asks, "What's wrong, listener? You're crying." You quietly say through tears, I lied. I definitely got hurt." They land and let you out. Then Icy asks, "What happened, and why didn't you tell us right away?" You quietly say, "Bullies decided to stab me with some scissors. And I didn't want there to be an issue at the school." Blitzwing looks at you with sad eyes. Then Icy turns to Crazy, picks you up and hugs you. Then he says, "We should get you back to the base. Then, I don't know, maybe Shockwave or Lugnut can help repair you?" Then you cut him off and say, "They can't fix me. I'm human. That's what doctors are for." Then Blitzwing says, in a semi-irritated voice, "Then let's go to the doctor. It's clear you need help. It's clear that we can't provide the help you need." Then you calmly say, "Blitz, look, I have the materials. I can handle it myself. Don't worry." After a bit, you and Blitzwing were back at the Decepticon base, and all of the others notice that you're bleeding. And Megatron asks Blitzwing what happened to them. And then you answer instead of Blitz. And you say, it's not his fault. It's some idiots at school. And I can handle it on my own. Don't worry. After a while, when you were talking with Lugnut, then Lugnut asks you, Listener, why didn't you bring it up to them immediately? And you say, I didn't want to seem weak to them. You know how I feel, Lugnut? Then Lugnut chuckles and says, Look, they're worried about you. They would have appreciated it if you would have just told them right off the bat. After a while, and Lugnut had told Blitzwing about the fact that you had a crush on them. So Crazy Mode comes up to you and just picks you up. Then asks, Listener, do you like us? Then you ask in a confused tone, which like do you mean? As a friend, of course. But aside from that, I don't know what you're talking about. Then Crazy Mode says, Well, did you see Ragnar told us that you love us? Is that true? Then your face goes bright red. You mumble out, Yeah, I told him not to tell. Then Blitzwing gently kisses your cheek, which surprises you because you always thought Crazy Mode would be one of the more rough of the two. But it more or less felt like a pillow going against your face. After a while of you two dating, he had decided to try something. So one day when you had gotten back from school, because now that you and Blitzwing were dating, Megatron trusted that you wouldn't try to escape. Blitzwing just picks you up the instant you get in the base and carries you to their room. And you ask, let's see, what's going on? Then he just bites your arm, which surprises you because it's Crazy Mode, the one with the sharp teeth. So you're blushing, but you're scared and a little bit in pain. So you ask in a nervous tone, Blitz, what was that for? Then Blitzwing says casually, Well, we and Lugnut have been watching romance movies recently. So we decided to try something out that we saw in one of them. Then you realize that Lugnut likely got Blitzwing into some weird version of romance, likely masochism. Then you calmly say, Blitz, you're too much bigger than me for you to be biting me, okay? It could do some serious damage. You could even break my bones. Potentially take my arm clean off. And Blitz realizes he actually could have hurt you. So he nervously says, We're sorry. We're thinking. Then you calmly say, It's okay, Blitz. And it's fine for you to do it, just be mindful. After a bit, it was time for bed, so you were all cuddled up against Blitzwing, and you quietly say, Love you, Blitz. Then, somehow all three of the voices merge and say all at once, We love you too, darling.